A chill wind howled outside, rattling the window panes like the bones of long-dead witches. Inside, bathed in the sickly glow of a street lamp, sat a girl whose face was pale as bone. Her name was Sarah. She sat alone, her eyes staring vacantly into the darkness. Why are you watching this video? What makes you think that sitting here will change anything? The truth is, it won't. But if you really want to know what happened that night, then you should probably stay till the end because what happens next will blow your mind. You have been warned. It had been 3 weeks since she'd seen him. 3 weeks since his lips had brushed against hers under the bleachers, sending shivers down her spine that had nothing to do with the October air. 3 weeks since he'd looked at her with eyes that held the secrets of the universe and whispered, "I have to tell you something." Then his eyes had widened, his grip on her arm tightening, and he'd hissed, "No, not here." And before she could ask what, he'd vanished into the labyrinth of the school, leaving her with more questions than answers. Tonight, though, she would get those answers. Armed with the flimsy protection of a baseball bat, she stood outside the school, its silhouette looming against the bruised purple sky. She was ready for whatever lurked in the shadows, ready for whatever he had to tell her. As she pushed open the heavy oak door, a draft of stale, musty air hit her, carrying with it the scent of decay and forgotten dreams. The bell above the door chimed mournfully, as if mourning the countless hours of terror that had echoed within these 4 walls. Each creaking floorboard seemed to whisper his name. Each rustle of the wind through the broken window panes sounded like his voice. She called out into the darkness, her voice echoing eerily, "Daniel, where are you?" No answer, only the wind dared to reply. She moved deeper into the school, the silence pressing against her like a physical presence. The flickering light of her phone cast grotesque shadows on the walls, transforming familiar shapes into lurking monsters. Suddenly, a noise, a scraping sound from above. Her heart pounded against her ribs, threatening to burst free. She froze, listening intently. Then, ever so softly, it came again. The sound of footsteps. She wasn't alone. Adrenaline surged through her veins, lending speed to her steps as she fled down a deserted corridor. The footsteps followed, gaining on her, their heavy thudding a relentless drumbeat against the silence. She dared not look back. She didn't need to. The fear in her chest told her all she needed to know. She burst through a set of double doors and into the safety of the football field. Or so she thought. The moon, shrouded in clouds, offered no solace. The darkness here was absolute, broken only by the distant glow of streetlights. Then she saw him, silhouetted against the faint light, his back to her, his shoulders shaking slightly. Relief washed over her, quickly followed by anger. "Daniel," she called out, her voice trembling with suppressed emotion. "What have you been hiding from me? Why have you been avoiding me?" He turned, and for a moment she saw the wild glint in his eyes, the haunted look on his face. Then his expression shifted, becoming unreadable once more. His usual charm was there, but it felt like a mask, a barrier between them. "Sarah, he began, his voice strained. "I didn't mean to lead you on like this, it's just, I can't tell you here. Her anger flared. "Tell me what? What are you hiding, Daniel? Why is this game important?" He took a step toward her, his eyes searching hers. "Because it's not just about me, Sarah. It's about us. It's about everything we could lose." His gaze dropped to the ground. "I'm sorry, but I can't risk it." His words hung in the air, unanswered questions, and suddenly she understood. This wasn't just about her, about some shared secret. This was about him, his fears, his demons. He was the one running from something, or someone. A low growl rumbled in her chest, a protective instinct taking over. Whatever this was, whatever he was hiding, she would help him face it. "We can face it together," she whispered, reaching out to touch him. He flinched away as if burned, and she recoiled her hand, her eyes wide with hurt. Was this the boy she knew? The boy who had made her laugh until her sides ached? Who had held her hand under the bleachers, who had looked at her like she was the only star in his universe. "Don't you recognize me, Daniel?" she asked, her voice cracking. "Don't you remember what we had under the bleachers? What we almost had?" He closed his eyes, wincing as if in pain. "Of course I do," he whispered, his voice ragged. "But that doesn't change anything. You don't understand what I'm up against." "You're right," she said softly, realizing the futility of arguing. "I don't. And maybe that's why you're here. Maybe you're trying to show me." He nodded slowly, his gaze dropping to the ground. "Yes, that's why I brought you here. But not like this. Not with fear hanging between us like a shroud." She reached out to him again, this time letting her fingers linger on his arm, seeking the warmth of their shared past. "I'm here for you, Daniel. If you show me what's inside, I promise I won't judge you." He hesitated, his body rigid, his breathing shallow. Then, slowly, ever so slowly, he began to relax. As if a dam had broken, words tumbled out of him, rushed, panicked. "I'm not myself, Sarah. There are parts of me, dark parts that come out when I'm asleep. I sleepwalk. I kill." The words hung in the air between them, heavy, laden with unspoken fears. He looked at her, his eyes wide and vulnerable. "I was hoping to keep this from you, but..." She shook her head, her throat constricting with emotion. "It's okay, Daniel. We'll find a way to help you." He shook his head vehemently. "No, there is no help, Sarah. I've tried everything. Doctors, therapists, even my own abuela's curandera. Nothing works. The darkness, it's always there waiting, growing stronger every day. And when I sleep, it takes over. I become a monster." His words were laced with such anguish, such despair that her heart ached for him. This was the real Daniel, the one she had fallen in love with, the one who had looked at her with such adoration that she had believed she could love him forever. But now he was a monster, or he could be, a predator that stalked in the night, taking lives with an innocence that chilled her to the bone. Fear warred with love in her chest, clawing at her resolve. She wanted to help him, God knew that. But how could she help someone who wasn't even there when he needed it most? How could she help someone who was lost to the darkness? She reached out, her fingers ghosting over his cheek, her thumb brushing away a stray tear. "I may not be able to help you, Daniel, but I can be with you. I can stay with you while you fight your darkness. Together, we can face anything." He looked at her, his eyes filled with gratitude, but also with pain. "Thank you, Sarah, but I can't burden you with this. It's too much." "Don't say that," she whispered, her voice breaking. "You're not a burden. I love you, Daniel. All of you, the light and the dark. And I'm not afraid of the dark, not when you're in it with me." He cupped her face in his hands, his thumbs stroking her cheeks. "You have no idea what you're getting yourself into, Sarah." "Maybe not," she admitted, leaning into his touch, "but I'm willing to find out." And in that moment, as the darkness pressed against them, whispering its ancient secrets, they found solace in each other's arms, ready to face whatever horrors lay ahead. All Sarah had ever wanted was to be with Daniel, to love him, to be loved by him. Now, she had him, but at what cost? Would their love survive the night? Would they both survive the night? One thing was certain, their journey had just begun and it would take them to places they never imagined. If you haven't already, follow us for more stories like this one. Remember, the scariest monsters are the ones that walk among us, even in broad daylight. Until next time, sleep tight, don't let the bedbugs bite.